So you just got Fangyi and you're wondering about what characters should you be using alongside her to achieve the best results. If that's the case, you're in the right place because today I'll be showcasing every possible Zhuang Fangyi teams that make sense in various endgame modes while providing you with insights on how you'll be playing them while also rating their performance, difficulty, and survivability. Hopefully you can find this helpful. Use the timestamps for convenience and I'll be showing you all the stats I've used in the video at the end. With all that said, let's dive into it. First of all, do know that all teams used in this video are not fully built with low to no artificing involved. However, each of the characters are leveled with max skills and they do have their best weapon at max level as well equipped, though the weapons themselves don't have any essence to equip. I think this will serve as the best midpoint of reference with what I'm given, where I will not be one-shotting bosses instantly, and it's still something casual players can relate to. Now then, let us start with a show of her possible teams. I prepared for you 8 total teams, and almost all of them will involve the main engine of a Fangyi team, which involves Fangyi, Perlica, and Arclight. You see, Fangyi only needs one important thing to function forever, which is for her team to be able to apply at least one electric infliction consistently. And that is the reason why Perlica is one of the best choice for Fangyi, where she comes with an easily triggered combo skill that even applies electrification, all while being a character that has consistent electric infliction. Fangyi will especially need the infliction, but she also wouldn't mind the electrification, which makes Perlica one of the best choice for Fangyi. As for Arclight, she will be one of the more important allies too for the same reasons. Arclight has electric infliction and electrification specifically on her ultimate. You will sometimes notice you will want to use this for very easy Fangyi Thunderblade spawns, especially when you're running low on SP and you don't have access to say Perlica's skill to get the infliction. Speaking of SP, Arclight's very consistent combo skill that can provide you SP is more important than you would expect for a Fangyi team. The reason being, Fangyi actually does spend quite a lot of SP, especially after her ultimate activates. In general, think of Perlica as the most accessible must-have ally for Fangyi to perform well, with Arclight being a close second, though she's not exactly an absolute must-have for Fangyi to work. And with all that, here's the first and smoothest team showcase that I would first recommend everyone using. It'll feature Fangyi, Perlica, Arclight, and Alesh actually. While this is the smoothest team, this isn't the theoretical highest damage output team with Fangyi, as it focuses more on having generous SP generation to provide Fangyi with the healthiest SP amount to work with. This team is not to be underestimated for damage though, since Fangyi's own numbers are high enough that as long as she can keep on spamming her skill, especially during her ultimate, her damage output is straight up unmatched anyway. With this team, if you have access to full ultimates from the get-go, you usually just want to start with Alesh's ultimate, which actually recovers SP and applies cryo infliction. You'll then use Fangyi's ultimate into a free skill usage that spawns 3 Thunderblades, and because you used your ult, it also applies electric infliction, allowing you to generate electrification, consuming Alesh's cryo infliction. By timing it perfectly this way, it will allow you to instantly use another Fangyi skill. While this time will take SP cost, it will consume that electrification to spawn 2 Thunderblades again. By the time you're done with just these steps, you're already looking at 5 Thunderblades total, all for the cost of only 1 SP. Combine that with Perlica's help of triggering forced electrification and Arclight's ultimate that can achieve electrification too, Fangyi will reach 9 Thunderblades within seconds of her ultimate activating. From there, Alesh and Arclight will both constantly activate their combo skill when available, which all generates SP, and since they don't really do much of anything else, you can just spam it when it glows. And at this moment, this is when Fangyi tend to have to perform her go-to rotation during her ult, or in general basically. What you'll do with Fangyi a lot is just using her battle skill into final strike, into combo skill, right back into battle skill, rinse and repeat. By performing this arrangement during her ultimate, it'll allow for full combo skill activation from the whole team, including herself, which basically means you're doing everything. You're applying electric infliction, you're converting it into electrification, you're consuming electrification, triggering Thunderblade spawns consistently with just Fangyi's own abilities. And of course, the team helps her achieve that even quicker, which is why this team syncs perfectly. You would notice that there are not much buffs or susceptibility going on with this team, hence why it's not the highest theoretical damage output team for Fangyi. With all those SP regen, consistent combo activation, your whole team will have really healthy SP for Fangyi to spam during her ultimate, and also healthy ult energy gain, because everyone's triggering their combo skills so consistently. This will allow for very smooth rotations where you'd have the lowest downtime possible with Fangyi, and the team's just a constant barrage of damage output. After her ultimate ends, you rely mostly on a simple Perlica skill first, into the usual Fangyi's final strike to trigger her combo, which converts the infliction to electrification, then use battle skill to consume that electrification, repeat the steps until you spawn enough Thunderblades and get her ultimate again, and go ahead and use her ult again for the next damage window. Arclight's ultimate would usually be available really quickly as well, which you can consider it as like a free electrification applied, so when you're running low in SP, it's like something really quick that you could do instantly for Fangyi to consume that electrification for Thunderblades again and for ult energy. Not to mention Perlica's combo skill also lands electrification. All of this means Fangyi can spawn more Thunderblades, get her ult back a lot quickly, and if you're worried that your SP might be an issue, Arclight and Alesh will be activating their combo skill, so it's a really low chance you're gonna have issues with that. When you bring this team and play it this way to other endgame modes like Umbra Monument, depending on the stage, obviously the team's performance will differ, but if you're fighting a stage like the Searing Scar boss that stops SP regen over time, this team can still function really well with the sheer amount of SPU regen from Arknights and Alesh, allowing a guarantee for smooth Fangyi experience. Obviously, you won't be able to do the same exact combo steps all the time, but as long as you generally remember to go for the Electric Infliction into the final strike, triggering Fangyi's combo skill to convert it, and then use her skill to consume it, that's how you get the Thunder Blades, and that's how you do damage. Repeat that until everything dies, that's all you gotta worry about. With all that said, I rate this team 5 out of 5 for performance, 2 out of 5 for difficulty, it's not that hard to do, and 4 out of 5 for survivability, mostly because Fangyi herself comes with really good survival already. With the smoothest team out the way, let's check out the other options if you want to consider those. Here I have for you Fangyi, Perlica, Arclight, and Antal. This team has higher damage output if played right because obviously Antal's electric amp on the ultimate and 10% electric susceptibility on his battle skill that lasts for a shockingly long 60-second duration are both very helpful to increase Fangyi's damage output. With this team, you're looking to start with Antal's skill right into Perlica's skill that triggers Antal's combo, which actually copies that electric infliction once, so you get 2 stacks easily. That actually means you convert it into a level 2 electrification, which Fangyi can consume and spawn 3 Thunder Blades instantly. Thereafter will be the same repetition of Perlica and Arclight electrification, leading into Fangyi's final strikes and combos and skill usage to spawn Thunder Blades. Once you get your ultimate, this is where the damage truly goes insane. You won't be doing much of anything different with Fangyi here. It's always going to be get electrification, use Fangyi's skill, get the final strike, then the combo, repeat from her skill again while Perlica and Arclight both constantly trigger their combo skills to help Fangyi further. Antal will then use his ultimate around the halfway mark of Fangyi's ult duration, which will last for the rest of her ultimate. If you're able to make sure Antal's focus debuff is on the enemy and lasts for long enough, you would have maximized Fangyi's damage here. The weakness of this team is obviously how it's worse if you're fighting multiple enemies. After all, Antal's focus can only be applied to one enemy at a time. Otherwise, this team doesn't really have too many shortcomings, with one of it perhaps just being SP management, where you have to pay attention and use Arclight's combo skill quickly to regenerate SP in time for Fangyi to spend, especially during her ultimate. Not to mention, sometimes Antal's buff might run out and you might not have taken that into account, and if you have to force yourself to use Antal's skill, that's kind of awkward sometimes, but in any case, you will usually still have enough SP. It's definitely tighter compared to having Alesh, which just constantly regens it for you, but in exchange, your damage output is higher once you got all your debuffs and buffs on. Now, in a mode like Umbra Monument, it's pretty much the same experience. You won't be doing anything different with Fangyi really. Your only challenge here though would be SP management and keeping buffs and debuffs online during Fangyi's ultimate. You would still rather not use this team against AoE situations though. Antal's not quite built for that. I rate this team 5 of 5 for performance still, 3 of 5 for difficulty since SP management and buff debuff durations needs to be considered, and 4.5 of 5 for survival because Antal actually has some minor healing to his name, helping out Fangyi even more. Next team on the list though, we do have Fangyi, Perlica, Arclight, and Avywenna. And I would like to give this team a really solid shout out. It is a team that you wouldn't think you would go for first, but it's actually a team that you would most likely fall in love with if you try using it. With Avywenna, what she provides is a 10% electric susceptibility on her ultimate, a lot of burst damage with her own kit, and actually just 1 electric infliction with her ultimate. While you have to use her ult and then use her skill for it, it's really not consistent. It doesn't sound like she'll do that much for Fangyi since there are no SP regen on her kit, not many amplifying abilities as well, but Avywenna shines through her own damage output. If you've been around the block, you would know. Avywenna does a lot of burst damage, though she does need quite the lengthy setup time. Just so happens though, the way you want to settle Avywenna is getting her combo skill to trigger in order to get more lances on the field. It's really similar to how Fangyi would work, where you want to get more Thunder Blades on the field. By the time you get the maximum Thunder Blades out, you quite likely have a number of Avywenna's Thunder Lances out as well, so they kind of synergize in that regard. In any case, if you plan your damage output well, like say against Rodan, you can set it up so Avi has a lot of her Thunder Lances on field. Fangyi just so happens to have 9 Thunder Blades on the field and ult with all of them on field. And here you can activate everything. Go with Avywenna's skill to recall all the Thunder Lances, have Fangyi activate her skill constantly as well with all the Thunder Blades. A combination of that can wipe out half, if not more, of the boss's HP easily, especially if you fully invest in them. To remember, my investments are really subpar with near no artificing and no essence on their weapons too. This team is so explosive, not with one character, but with just Avywenna plus Fangyi. They're both really explosive in terms of damage output, with Fangyi being way more consistent with damaging because she kind of just have no downtimes anyway. Even outside of her ultimate, she still hits like a truck. In any case though, this team doesn't see Avywenna spend too many resources. It's really just committing 1 SP once you want to recall her Thunderlance. If you really don't want to though, you could just not use anything until you can. In a mode like Umbra Monument against specific bosses, Avywenna's sudden burst damage may help you get out some annoying damage gimmicks, like with the massive rock boss. Avi sending like 9 lances to wipe out the rock, and after the fact put in her ult's lance and electric susceptibility, and at that point it's Fangyi's time to shine while setting up Avi for more lances again. This team is surprisingly awesome, and I actually rate their performance 5 out of 5 as well. Instead of Fangyi doing all the damage, it's really high damage from both Fangyi and Avi. I'd rate them 2 out of 5 for difficulty. It's really not that hard once you get a hang of it. 4 out of 5 for survivability. Honestly, I'd kind of just rate all of the survivabilities high because Fangyi herself does have really good surviving mechanics. I recommend trying out this team if you have an Avywenna build. It's actually surprisingly perfect. Next on the agenda will feature 2 teams, which are basically the same electric trio but with more general supports like Gilberta and Ardelia. These 2 characters each have their own pros and cons. For Gilberta, the challenge with her will always be with her short susceptibility duration. It only lasts for 5 seconds, which it still provides insanely good value for Fangyi's damage, but Fangyi's ult lasts for a really lengthy 25 seconds, so there's definitely a lot of wastage there. In any case, there's still a number of ways you can utilize Gilberta. You can start with Nature Infliction with her skill for an easy electrify via Perlica skill right after, and then Fangyi will be able to consume it for free Thunderblades, or you can ignore Gilberta and just spam Thunderblades with Fangyi, Perlica, and Arclight as the main source of Thunderblades. In that setup, Gilberta's only job will be to land her combo skills for energy and getting her ult off when she has it while Fangyi has 9 Thunderblades and her ultimate online. The problem with this team would be rotation smoothness, where you don't want to mistakenly consume Electric Infliction with Gilberta's Nature Infliction, for example. On top of that, it's just a really short ult duration and some SP management issues. Obviously, Gilberta does not provide SP for your team. This team though truly shines in Umbra Monument, where if you're up against multiple enemies, Gilberta is always going to be valuable there. Honestly, this is just Gilberta's solo value. The gather is just so useful, and it could be the reason why you would win way easier. What you're watching right now with this stage is really annoying when these enemies start scattering, and Gilberta is a big factor in preventing that while still providing good supports for Fangyi. It may not last forever, but it's better than using Antal in this case, obviously. As for the case of using Ardelia instead, this one's the opposite. She has way longer susceptibility uptime, enough to fully envelop Fangyi's ult duration. But you do have to make sure you trigger Ardelia's combo into her skill for it, meaning guaranteed SP consumption for Ardelia, or else her value drops significantly. That's really the only thing with Ardelia. If you can consistently get her susceptibility to be online without sacrificing your team's rotation, it's a totally valid choice. She definitely heals way more compared to any other supports too, so sometimes you might want to pick Ardelia over other choices if, say, an Umbra Monument stage have some gimmicks that forces you to heal a lot. I rate both these teams still 5 out of 5 for their performance if you play them well, 3.5 out of 5 for difficulty because they each have their own gimmick that you have to obey by, 5 out of 5 for survivability because both of these general supports comes with healing. Top that up with Fangyi's own heal and damage immunity, you won't be dying too easily. And finally, I have for you the last style of team composition that I can think of, which features either no Perlica or no Arclight somehow. This is for the players that just don't want to use them, I guess. To replace Arknight, which is actually quite possible, you can simply use a team with Alesh instead. Alesh in this case will still carry the weight of SP generation. He still functions with his Ice Infliction that can easily be timed first, so Fangyi turns it into electrification. He has a bunch of SP regens, and it's just Arknight without the electric stuff. You'll find Arknight to still be better, especially during times where you're low in SP and want easy electrification to get Fangyi's ultimate, since you can easily just use the ult of Arknight to get electrification. Obviously, Alesh cannot quite do that, which is why there's just no reason to force Alesh when you have Arklight, or just use both of them together. Another example of replacing Arklight is actually just using Avywenna. As long as you have Perlica, pretty much as I mentioned, Fangyi will have no issues getting Thunderblades out and getting to her ultimate. It just may take longer. Avywenna can still function to get out Thunderlances as long as Electric Infliction is happening, and Antal in this team acts as a very strong ally that buffs the damage of both damage dealers on the team. It's actually an underrated setup that works with really hyper explosive damage output from all fronts. But obviously you will have SP issues. Sometimes you may want to use Avi's skill but can't. Sometimes you may want to use a Final Strike extra or 2 before getting the skill you want out with Fangyi. But at least Antal's amps and susceptibilities help out with the damage that you do dish out. I rate these teams without Arklight a 4 out of 5 for performance, 2 out of 5 for difficulty, 4 out of 5 for survivability. Obviously they will change depending on who you have on the team and who you decide to use on the last slide. It can be anyone that I mentioned before. As for the final team, it will feature a team without Perlica and without Arklight. I heavily recommend against going without Perlica, but hey, if you just hate the girl somehow, a team like Fangyi, Avywenna, Antal, and Gilberta will be something you can consider. You will, I guess, only rely on Avywenna's ultimate plus her battle skill for one single electric infliction. Antal can at least replicate that though, so you'd have 3 Thunder Blades, yes. And Ultimate Fangyi means 3 more for free, so the Thunder Blades are still coming out. The challenge is getting to Fangyi's ultimate again if you don't have access to it in the first place. But I guess if you're fighting in stages with full ults to begin with, you can actually just, I guess, end the fight before needing to get Fangyi's second ult. It's actually valid and possible. My builds are completely non-optimal with 0 artificing. I still wipe the floor with the boss with this team, mostly thanks to Gilberta and Antal both going crazy with susceptibilities and buffs. And the style of this team is just with one Fangyi ult that you already got from the get-go, you have to finish the fight. Otherwise, it might take a lot longer. It's not that you cannot win though. Think about needing Avywenna's ult into her skill in order to just get one infliction. It's not going to be a good idea. I still rate the team 4 out of 5 for performance because under circumstances where you could just kill the boss, you could just use the team. 5 out of 5 for difficulty though, since you'll have a rough time with SP, and if you make any mistakes, you'll just be spamming final strikes trying to get more SP. 5 out of 5 for survival though, you got more than enough heals. And those are all the teams that I can think of that make sense with Fangyi. As promised, here are all the builds and stats. All the possible character level ups and weapon level ups are maxed, while all 6-star operators have no potential, with 5 stars having P5. All the builds have 0 to no artificing. I think all I did was artifice 1 piece off of Alesh to slightly get more ult gain efficiency. That didn't really even matter with the showcases I did. All the weapons actually also have no essences equipped. I low-key might kill bosses too quickly if everything was on there. All skill ups are maxed, which is kind of unrealistic, but hey, I have really low investment in everywhere else. So hopefully that works as some sort of a balance where I'm not just showing you something only the top percentile of players can achieve right now with maximum everything, perfect everything. To conclude, Fangyi is insanely strong. Her teams are more systematic though, with really direct and logical answer to who you should be bringing with her. However, she's still strong enough to work with non-ideal teams as long as you obey by her general rule of wanting at least some electric infliction. She completely cannot function with a team with 0 regards of applying electric infliction or electrification though, so I wouldn't put her in a cryo support team obviously. If you put her in any usable team that makes sense, you'll see her wipe out dungeons with 1 rotation, killing bosses with just 1 ult usage, all while possibly being immune to damage completely with no cooldown to it. Just RNG, you sometimes get no damage. And while it has a cooldown, you also get a heal if you trigger the immunity to damage. She's strong in AoE, strong in single target boss fights. She's strong with survival. She is our queen, and yep, I do think she's very worth pulling. With all that said, good luck with your pulls if you're going for Fangyi, and I hope I helped you out. More content coming soon with Fangyi for sure, so subscribe for everything related to Endfield, and that'll be all. Take care.